Hi, this is Greg Ryan from Greg Ryan Fitness. Today I want to do a kind of a shameless plug on a book that I wrote about 13 years ago. And this book is really dear to my heart because it was about a special friend of mine who was suffering from cancer, bone cancer. And Kathy and I had become very, very good friends over the years. And at the time, I was living in the Midwest, and we all had hopes and dreams. And Kathy got diagnosed with a form of bone cancer. And I've always wanted to write a book on disease prevention, but I did not want to write a book, so close to home. And when you're writing books, you never know what the title is going to be or the theme is going to be. And so over the Kathy and I's friendship, we grew pretty close together, and I learned a lot about her. And we all had our bucket lists that we put together. And one day we said, well, let's go skydiving. And I said, okay. Deep down, I always wanted to go, but I didn't really have the guts to do it. But I looked over at Kathy and I said, what do I have to lose? She's the one that's dying of cancer, and you wouldn't even know it. So we got in a car and we drove a couple hours away and went to this skydiving place. And I should have known better, but we were out in a cornfield. I didn't see a Hertz rental car. I didn't see a Starbucks coffee shop. But she had set this all up. It was a skydiving organization of these gentlemen with what seemed like 100-year-old airplanes. And but Kathy was in her element. I was not. And we decided that she would go first, or we drew straws, I should say. And so we got on our jumpsuits, and she's smiling from ear to ear, and we get in these 100-year-old airplanes, it seemed like, and off we flew up to about 10,000 feet. It's kind of cold, and I tend to get quiet when I get nervous, but Kathy's still smiling from ear to ear. And so they strap me up to this guy I don't even know, and I have to put my life and my trust in this guy's hands. And we lean over on the edge of the airplane, and I briefly looked down at the clouds, and it was just like this soft cushion of air and a pillow. And as the cameraman got out on the wing, it kind of hit me that here I go, and 1, 2, 3, and off we went. Kathy came down beside me, and what was really interesting is how these guys could steer us like cars going 150 miles an hour back toward the earth. And after I'd probably wet my britches, I tended to calm down, and I looked over at Kathy as we're flying down, and again, a smile from ear to ear. And it dawned on me at that point in time that hope really does float. And that's where the book was born. Hope floats, not just surviving, but thriving after cancer through exercising, eating well. But as Kathy and I leaped that day, many things were discovered. As we got down on the ground, Kathy and I gave our hugs and our smiles and our high fives, but something was eating at me. And I grabbed her by the shoulders and hugged her, and I said, "Can I ask you a question?" She said, "Sure." I said, "Why did I feel more comfortable flying 150 miles an hour with nothing underneath me but the wind, with a stranger attached to my back, and all I could do was trust him?" And Kathy looks me right in the eye and she says, "That's easy. It's all about the leap. If we leap, God takes care of us. But if we stay in that airplane filled with fear, doubt, and anger and past, we won't leap." And that book was written about 2003, I believe, and that book probably has helped 50 to 100,000 women with breast cancer to get more exercise. And every day I thank Kathy for leaping with me, or nudging me to leap with her, I should say, that day in a cornfield some 13 years ago. What I'd like to do now is I'd like to read you a little insert of what Kathy said to me in that book that I wrote years ago. She says, "Life was different now. While on the outside things were seemingly calm, my insides were being tossed like a ship in a hurricane. When I first heard that I had cancer, I was shocked, to say the least. Up until then, all my tests were normal. I wasn't grossly out of shape, and I lived in somewhat normal lifestyle. Logically, why did this have to happen to me? Not me. Not now, I thought. The other thing on my mind was, what about my body? Things were now going to be different on the outside too. What would I look like? What would others think? And oh geez, my hair. Never in my life did I think of wearing a wig. After the initial shock with some reassurance from God, my husband, and the doctors, I realized now it was up to me. Before cancer, I never thought life could change as quickly as it has. One moment, I'm going through my everyday items, and next thing I know, part of me is threatened to be taken away. Maybe even my life. What do I do now? Where do I go from here? How will I cope? Who will be there when I need them the most? Then I realized it all started with me. Was I going to be the victim or the survivor? Was I going to mope around just enough to get by, or was I going to get on with my life? I decided that I needed to get on board, or else my life was going to just wither away. I had to keep breathing. I had to believe there would be life after cancer. Was it tough? Absolutely. It still is. But I had two choices: get up and walk, or stay on the couch and die. Either I eat healthier or continue to scarf down the junk food and feel rotten inside. For the last few years, my sail has been up. The wind has taken me to places I've never thought possible. I'm healthier, I'm active, and I'm determined to go on. Do I know where this ship will take me? No. Maybe it's best that way. I do not wish cancer on anyone, but in some crazy way, the cancer opened my eyes to what matters most to me: my faith, my family, and my fitness. I am so thankful I got on board. What about you? Dearly, Kathy. Hope floats. Not just surviving, but thriving after cancer through exercising anyway. Thank you, Kathy, for leaping with me that day and teaching me that our leaps are never wrong. And thank you for sharing your story in hopes that others will get to hope. This is Greg Ryan from Greg Ryan Fitness Global.